Welcome back to more Super Mario Galaxy. Last time, we got through the rest of the Deep Dark Galaxy, so this time, we're continuing through the Dreadnought Galaxy. Our next mission is Dreadnought's Colossal Cannons. First of all, we have to basically spin this bolt to cross this gap, but there is actually ground below us, which is nice in case we do fall, and also there are some goodies like a 1-up behind that cage and a couple of star bits. We also have a ton of bob-ombs in order to break that open, but it is actually nice to have a little bit of ground here in case we make a mistake. This can be a little bit unwieldy, specifically as Luigi. I tend to have problems with this, partly because of his momentum. Sometimes when running, specifically, this is why I'm jumping, sometimes when running, I'll basically run too far to the opposite side and cause it to spin around like that, so that's typically why I jump on a particular side like this. This is close enough, by the way. Next up, we have a ton of flip switches and chain chomps rolling down this slope. That deactivates the first set of lasers, but there's still another set of flip switches to activate. And that deactivates the rest of the lasers. So we have some more bolts here, but this time we don't have ground. Instead, we have a black hole, so we have to be a lot more careful not to fall. Again, I'm jumping on this one side to spin it more consistently so I don't spin it the other way. That's close enough. And over here, it looks like we have two barrels, so as we get a little bit closer, we should have some enemies to deal with, like before. And that lowers this little bridge. Over here, we can actually stand on either side to zoom out the camera to collect all of those star bits, and we have two blocks and a bob-omb dispenser to make it a little bit harder to actually get the items inside. This one has star bits, and this one has coins, which was actually kind of helpful because I did take a lot of damage previously. Next up, we have a fairly challenging section. Kind of like Battle Rock, we have this moving platform as a sort of auto-scroller. Unlike in Battle Rock, we basically have to stay on this one side of the platform. We can't rotate, we can't run to the other side of it. Instead, we have to switch platforms. Which is a little bit disorienting for one thing, and also tends to cause the controls to act up. My best advice would actually be to completely let go of the control stick whenever you switch platforms to avoid like spinning around whenever you switch gravity, and that'll probably in a lot of cases reduce your chances of falling off the platform. At least I find that to be the case. There is a 1-up above the thwomp. Now we have to quickly get back to the platform, or do we? These platforms actually will respawn eventually, so if we didn't get back to it in time, it obviously would have been a little bit time-consuming having to wait for another platform, but we wouldn't have to like fall deliberately to restart the stage, which is kind of nice. This is my least favorite section on the wall here, going vertically, and then this little transition to the top level also causes problems for me occasionally. Again, I feel like this isn't even inherently difficult, it's just mostly disorienting, and again, when the controls act up a little bit because of switching gravity, that does not help, while also trying to dodge all of this. But we got through it, so there is another one of these little electric wave enemies. The star is right over there, but let's actually wait for this platform to see what's inside this block. Some more star bits, so let's collect our star. You got a star! Dreadnought's Colossal Cannons, Dreadnought Galaxy. High score updated. You increased your star bit count. There are still no prankster comets yet, so let's continue the main missions of the Dreadnought Galaxy. Next up is the Revenge of the Topman tribe. So we're starting out on this little UFO platform with a Topman enemy. We actually can go to the underside of this platform, where we have a warp pipe. We'll be dealing with that later, but for now let's actually go through the main mission. We can use that sling star to get to this small planet. The power lines are keeping me from helping my friend. Spin to hit something and knock them out. Oh, please hit the power lines with something. So there's the Luma we have to rescue, and we have to basically lure the Topman enemies over here, and use them to take out the barrier. This one actually has two separate power lines, so we actually do need this other enemy. Thank you. In return, let me create a shortcut for you. Okay, I'm going to... transform! Now we're on this small cube planet with a switch. And that makes a bunch of pull star chips appear. There's one really high up. I think you're actually supposed to use this enemy, but we're Luigi, so we can actually jump up to that. And that creates a path to our next launch star. So this is the tricky part of this particular mission. We have a ton of cannons and mines, and a pull star path. This is actually kind of scary, but it's actually not that bad. Obviously, we have to time this very carefully to avoid running into the cannonballs, but even if we do, you can still use the pull stars to catch yourself. I'm going to purposefully spin to demonstrate this. So yeah, if you do fall, you can catch yourself. It does take a little bit of finesse to catch yourself and not run into a different cannonball, I've discovered. So it's best to just play it safe, in my opinion. And there's our next launch star. Over here, we have this long, like, linear open path with a bunch of enemies like the moles and the little electric generators, but we also have a Koopa. We can actually see 3 shells from here, and we can actually use this same Koopa for all of them. The Koopa will respawn over here every time, which is good, because if you get hit by the electricity, you'll also drop the shell in that case. I usually don't go for these because I feel like the rewards aren't particularly worthwhile. I also feel like in the past I didn't even notice the Koopa before until like very recently. So yeah, I usually didn't go for these in the past, but just to show them off. The one had a coin, the other had star bits, and there's one more up there. One thing to note about life up mushrooms is if you have 6 hit points already, collecting a life up mushroom will restore your health if you're taking damage, but it obviously won't stack any further, which is part of the reason why I left this, just in case I took damage. Alright, so we are good to go. We have another UFO platform, and I run straight into the electricity somehow. And over here, we have a couple more enemies and a shop Luma in case you need more health or an extra life. But we are actually good to go, so let's move on to the top of this area. We have a rematch with Topman, a relatively easy boss fight, thankfully, but kind of annoying because of getting bounced around by the smaller enemies. Like before, you have to jump on its head and then spin it into the electric barrier 3 times, so it's not too bad. So that's 2 hits. Let's actually get rid of these smaller enemies to make this a little bit easier, like so. And we get another Power Star for our efforts. You got a star! Revenge of the Topman Tribe, Dreadnought Galaxy. High score updated. You increased your star bit count. And we have a very infamous purple comet at the Dreadnought Galaxy. This is the Battlestation's purple coins. Throughout this playthrough, I feel like I've actually been downplaying a lot of the purple coins, both because a lot of them I feel like are genuinely not as difficult when you actually know there are excess coins, and others I'm so familiar with that they're not that big of a deal. This mission is one that I think is legitimately difficult, and I've actually been having a ton of problems with the stage when practicing. So yeah, even though I generally know what to do, it's still a very difficult mission. I think this is actually the toughest purple coin star in Galaxy 1. I don't remember enough about Galaxy 2 to know if that statement holds for both games, but this is definitely tricky. Here we have a very stressful part where we actually have to get the coins on top of the thwomp, but yeah, the platform will respawn eventually, so if you don't make it back in time, you can actually wait for another platform. Obviously, the scary part about this is you don't really have too many chances. Like, obviously, if you miss anything, you can't exactly go back for a lot of the coins. So my advice would be to be very careful to not take damage, but also be thorough. I was very nervous for a moment. I thought I was going to slide straight off the platform. Which has generally been my problem in practice for this stage, is sliding off the platform, basically after taking damage. So yeah, I'm going to be very careful here because we're actually getting very close to the end of the stage. I say as I jump straight into electricity somehow. Barely got that coin and made it back in time. By the way, at the end of this, you should have 99 coins. The final coin is along this launch star path. There's also a sling star back here that's actually kind of a trick. It basically takes you to the end, but makes you skip the final coin. So do not take that sling star. Make sure to take the launch star above this electric enemy. You did it! Wow, you really worked for it! So, if you get here without the coins, you lose a life. If you take the sling star and get here, you will still lose a life, because you will have 99 coins. So make sure to take the launch star. You got a star! Battlestation's purple coins, Dreadnought Galaxy. You increased your star bit count. With that very infamous mission out of the way, let's move on to something different. This is the gate! We are where our adventure began, at the Gateway Galaxy. So the structure is already here, like it was after catching the bunnies, so let's make our way up to the top. This planet. It's very dear to me. I looked forward to visiting this planet with the Lumas every 100 years. The Luma that's been traveling with you may also grow up to become a star someday. Some Lumas become planets, some become comets, and a few become power stars. I'm traveling with them while they look for a place to be reborn. But I never thought all of this would happen. Wow, Mama must really trust you. Well, how about this? If you grab all 100 purple coins here, then you'll earn my trust too. This is a red star. It holds the power of the red Lumas. But the really amazing part about it is it allows you to fly after you spin in midair. Yes, fly! While pressing B, you can pick the direction you want to fly with the control stick. If you can collect 100 purple coins, I'll let you use my power somewhere else. You transformed into Flying Luigi. Spin when jumping to fly. So, we can fly through here collecting all of the coins in the air. Holding jump will cause you to stop, allowing you to basically reposition, or to like angle what direction you want to go in. It also recenters the camera directly behind you, so I recommend holding A or B in this version if the camera gets like disoriented, because it will occasionally. You can press ZL to drop down, by the way, also. Another cool property of the red star is if we're standing near purple coins, we can actually spin to collect them. This is actually really helpful, and I wish there were more uses for this. We'll talk about that later, but I do feel like this is one of the cooler power-ups that also is kind of underutilized in both Galaxy 1 and Galaxy 2. And I feel like it's kind of a shame, actually. Overall, this is kind of just a little neat bonus reward for getting to the final stretch of the game. It's not a particularly difficult purple coin mission. There's like Goombas and little spiky fruit things, but overall this is a pretty low risk mission. But it's kind of a nice little like callback at the end of your adventure to where it all began. We're at 90 coins. I know exactly where a lot of them are, which is right by these pillars. If you miss a coin, spin to pick it up a lot more easily than trying to have to like stop and collect them all. And the final coins should be right over here. So now we have to make our way back over to the main structure here to collect our star. I didn't actually mean to fly there. I kind of forget about this sometimes. Not bad. You got a star. Gateway's purple coins. Gateway Galaxy. Galaxy complete. High score updated. You increased your star bit count. A hungry Luma has appeared. Now that we've completed that mission, we actually have a red star by the garage over there, and there's also another red star elsewhere. Over here we can actually see it, so let's get this one in particular for a very specific reason. We actually do have the red Luma over here. See this red star? You can use it anytime. Yep, that's what Mama said. You can use this red star. I really like the flying power-up in this game. I think it controls really well with the ability to stop on a dime. Also, there are two 1-ups that you basically have to use this power-up to get. One underneath the garden, or the gateway entrance, and also one at the very top. By the way, we can also go through the very first mission again, now that we've actually unlocked the Gateway Galaxy. But my problem with the flying power-up is it's literally never used again. It's used for that mission, and you can use it in the hub, and it's literally never used elsewhere, either in this game or in Galaxy 2. And I feel like this is a huge missed opportunity, because it's actually kind of a cool like flight system. But again, it's kind of a shame. Alright, so we now have a prankster comet, a speedy comet, specifically, at the Dreadnought Galaxy. This is the Topman Tribe Speedrun. We have 6 minutes to defeat Top Maniac. We have to go through the entire level, and there are actually additional enemies, the spiky Topman enemies, to deal with in certain areas. Like before, we have to basically break the cage open. That's one power line. Thank you. In return, let me create a shortcut for you. Okay, I'm going to transform. We still have to collect the Polestar pieces, and again, we have a spiked enemy here to deal with instead of just the one we can bounce off of. And we have to make our way up to the launch star. Obviously, this is the worst part of the speedrun. Obviously, we should not go fast, which is kind of contrary to having a timer. but you definitely want to take your time here and avoid falling. If you fall all the way back to the starting area, that loses a lot of time, so it's better to be careful and lose some time rather than take risks and still lose time. I think it goes without saying that we are skipping everything here. We're not worrying about the enemies or the Koopa. We are simply going to go as quickly as we can here. I would recommend having a life shroom either at the end of or at the beginning of the previous section or at the middle of this one for reasons. And let's carefully make our way over to the launch star. At the boss platform, if we go up here, we actually have a pretty major change. There's no Shot Bluma, which is why I was like, make sure to have a life up mushroom for this fight, because you will not be able to get one here. Luckily, this fight isn't too bad. We have 3.5 minutes to get through here, which is more than enough time. Even though I'm not having the best luck so far, yeah, we have plenty of time. One interesting thing I just thought about is that the smaller enemies only respawn after the second hit. So yeah, clearing them out early on is actually a good strategy. Alright, so one more hit to go. Let's see if we can land this hit without too much trouble. And with that, we have our final Speedy Comet Star. You got a star! Topman Tribe Speedrun, Dreadnought Galaxy. High score updated. You increased your star bit count. We still have a hidden star at the Dreadnought Galaxy, and it's a very notorious one, so we'll be starting with that next time, and then moving on to our final main galaxy. So thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join me next time for more Super Mario Galaxy.